So when my students were working on problems, I found they often needed a lot of help. I found I'd have to give them the same piece of information a few times. I was struggling to understand how students didn't seem to get it. I guess I thought it took a few repetitions to sink in. So I would tell students to do something, and if they made a mistake, I'd tell them again. As they say, tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. I know they got sick of it. I even got sick of it myself. But with the shoe on the other foot, I thought about what it's like for me when I'm just told to do something.
Don't eat the cookies.
You can see I have a bit of a thing for baked goods. But how well would this motivate you? What does it feel like to be told what to do? Lots of people find this kind of language really controlling. They might do what they're told, but they don't really know why. As a result, they're only doing it because someone else said so. And this kind of motivation can wane. Compare that experience to this situation.
Darling, please don't eat the cookies. I made them for the bake sale at work.
Does that feel different? A lot of people find that actually feel more likely to listen in the second scenario. Many people feel more motivated when they understand the reason why. So instead of repeating the same instruction over and over, now everyone, I've told you 100 times, be really careful with deadlifts. I want you all bending your knees. We can be more motivating when we explain the reason why. Now everyone, when you're doing deadlifts, remember to do it with a straight back and bend your knees. And that's because if you do it with a curved back, even lifting just 20 kilos will put 200 kilos of sheer force through your spine. That doesn't happen if you keep a straight back and bend your knees. Instead of repeating assessment instructions, so remember everybody, APA formatting, make sure you check it before you submit. Students respond better if we also give them a rationale. So we're using APA formatting because it makes it easier for your marker to read and understand. It's likely to be their academic mother tongue, if you will. And instead of repeating feedback over and over, we can be more effective if we explain the rationale for our feedback instead. If we provide a rationale for our feedback, we can help students both with the answer and an understanding of why it's the right answer. It's more motivating and it helps them generalize the knowledge to other problems. One good piece of feedback with a rationale saves teachers repeating themselves over and over again. One way of providing a rationale is to frame it as if-then. If you provide a rationale, then students will be more motivated. See what I did there?
So if you put this argument down here, up here, you might find it easier to link it to the following paragraph.
Another way is to add the word because into your instructions. When teachers say because, it can cue them into providing a rationale for their suggestion.
So this argument isn't strong yet because the evidence presented is targeting a slightly different message.
So, because and if then are some good ways of structuring a powerful rationale. But what about the content? In most teaching situations, there are a few options for what you might want to include. Here's 3 you could try. Some teachers focus on the short-term effect that the mistake or the solution has on the task.
So if you do this, then you'll have trouble getting to the right answer because we haven't got velocity yet.
For assessments, some teachers link their instructions or their feedback to the marking criteria or the rubric they're using.
In your assessment, we give marks for working out. So if you explain the steps in between these two for getting to the answer, you're more likely to get extra marks.
Note that for feedback, rationales can apply both to providing praise as well as criticism.
This section's really strong because it clearly addresses the marking criteria down here.
Finally, one other option is to connect the rationale to the bigger picture. Most people are learning because they want to know how to solve problems in the real world. Maybe they want a certain career or to get better at a certain skill. If we link our teaching to that skill, it can be much more motivating than just linking it to this task.
So at least in that role play, you could have shown the patient that you were listening by reflecting what they said. And this is because it helps the patient feel really understood, but you can also stop you from maybe misdiagnosing something accidentally by using the wrong information.
When I started providing rationales to my students, I found I didn't have to tell them the same thing over and over again. They started explaining the answers to each other because instead of just doing what I said, they understood the reason why.